Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're plunging into a story that honestly sounds like it's straight out of a military thriller.
Yeah.
You know, Russian President Vladimir Putin once famously boasted that his air defense systems were impenetrable, invincible shields against Ukrainian drones.
Right. I remember that rhetoric.
Well, on July 9th, he got let's say, a very rude awakening.
Okay.
Ukraine didn't just dent one of these so-called impenetrable shields. They absolutely obliterated a $10 million Buk-M1 air defense system, turned it into nothing but smoke.
Wow. Yeah, that's quite a statement. It was a really daring drone strike, and it's a vivid example of a much larger and very strategic shift happening in this conflict.
Indeed. And like you said, this strike isn't just a single incident. It really sets the stage for our mission today.
Which is?
Well, we want to unpack the details of this specific operation, explore exactly what a Buk-M1 system is and why it's such a critical target. And most importantly, show you how this one event is, well, a microcosm of Ukraine's broader strategy and the serious strategic and economic challenges it's now posing for Russia.
Right. That bigger picture is key.
Exactly. And to do that, we've pulled insights from a really diverse stack of sources for you. We've got stuff ranging from on-the-ground reports by Ukrainian news outlets like RBC-Ukraine and the Kyiv Post,
Great sources.
to in-depth analysis from international defense publications like Newsweek and Foreign Affairs, and economic data from Ukraine's Ministry of Finance, plus insights from the Military Show YouTube channel, Business Insider, United 24 Media, and the Washington Post.
So quite a mix.
Yeah, we're going to distill all the most important nuggets of knowledge from these, diverse perspectives.
Okay, sounds good. Let's start with that July 9th strike itself then.
Mhm.
It was a remarkable feat, first reported by RBC-Ukraine.
Right.
The Black Forest Brigade of Ukraine's 413th Separate Raid UAV Battalion successfully struck a Russian Buk-M1 system.
And one detail I found particularly interesting is that while the exact location wasn't revealed for this specific strike.
For security reasons, probably.
Yeah, makes sense. But Militarnyi reported that the Black Forest Brigade was operating in Luhansk back in January 2024.
Ah, okay.
So it stands to reason this latest strike likely took place somewhere in the Donbas region.
That makes sense geographically. And RBC Ukraine highlighted that the success came down to, well, a few things. Meticulous intelligence work, superior drone guidance, and what they called the sheer amount of firepower packed into Ukraine's first-person view, or FPV, drones.
Those little things pack a punch.
They really do. And this potent combination simply proved too much for Russia's Buk-M1 to handle.
And the incredible thing is, we actually have footage of this strike.
Oh, really? Video evidence?
Yep. The Land Forces of Ukraine channel shared a 54-second video on Telegram. It shows exactly how this operation unfolded.
Okay, walk us through it.
So it begins with a Ukrainian reconnaissance drone, apparently unseen by the Buk-M1's radar, filming the system moving along a dirt road. Then the vehicle suddenly stops. You see a soldier bolt out and run for cover.
Oh.
And the Buk-M1 sharply turns into the tree line, desperately trying to hide.
Trying to get under cover, yeah. Common tactic.
But despite their attempts, Ukraine's reconnaissance drone had eyes on it the whole time.
Persistent surveillance.
Exactly. Then, at around the 20-second mark, the footage shifts. Now we're seeing the view from a tiny FPV drone flying right into those trees.
Oh, wow. Point of view.
Yeah. A second or two later, you just hear the boom of an explosion, smoke rising.
The impact.
And then the Buk-M1 is seen as just a smoldering wreck, confirming a direct hit.
Wow, that's definitive. It's truly a testament to precision and persistence.
And it wasn't just a lucky shot, The Kyiv Post reveals this attack was actually a result of several months of planning.
Several months.
Yeah. Reconnaissance troops from the Black Forest Brigade first noted the Buk-M1's presence way back in May. But their function isn't really to attack, so they passed that intelligence to the brigade's drone operators.
Ah, the specialists.
Right, who then kept the system under surveillance for 2 whole months.
2 months of tracking. That's dedication and patience.
Incredible patience. And the strike itself was launched at a moment when the Buk-M1 was in transit and at its most vulnerable, unable to fire back.
Caught it moving. Smart.
Exactly. The crew's attempt to camouflage it in the trees. Already too late.
Yeah, the drone was already locked on.
Yeah.
It really speaks volumes about the level of detail and, well, patience involved in these operations.
So let's talk about this impenetrable target, the Buk-M1. For listeners who might not be familiar, what exactly is it and why is it considered, such a formidable system?
Sure. So the Buk-M1, its NATO code name is SA-11 Gadfly. It's a self-propelled surface-to-air missile system, a SAM system, designed for medium-range operations.
Medium range, okay.
And Army recognition notes that it's designed to destroy a whole range of aerial threats: cruise missiles, helicopters, even tactical and strategic aircraft.
So pretty versatile.
Very versatile. And this makes it an incredibly valuable asset for Russia, especially now thinking about Ukraine acquiring F-16 fighter jets. The Buk-M1 is kind of tailor-made to counter threats like that.
Right, makes sense. And it's quite the machine physically. Can you tell us a bit about its key features? What makes it so potent?
Absolutely. Well, first off, it's built on a highly mobile, custom-built tracked chassis, that GM569 chassis.
Like a tank base.
Sort of, yeah. Gives it impressive maneuverability across different terrain. And the system includes a powerful integrated radar. You can spot threats up to 20 miles away.
20 miles, okay.
And it carries 4 missiles ready to launch. Its radar and missile launcher are all on a single platform that can be raised up pretty quickly.
So it's all integrated.
Right. The radar can track aircraft at extremely high altitudes, up to 72,000 feet. And the crew can actually guide, I think, 3 of the 4 missiles simultaneously at one target during a single volley.
3 at once.
Yeah.
Wow.
And those missiles, the 9M38 or the upgraded M1 version, they have these X-wing designs and 155-pound warheads. Pretty hefty, capable of tearing through aircrafts, helicopters, you name it.
So it's highly mobile, packed with firepower. We saw the mobility in the video. It can hit decent speeds on roads, cross-country too, and has a significant operational range, about 310 miles.
Yep. And this mobility allows Russia to constantly redeploy it, shift it around wherever's most needed across their, vast front lines.
It's a valuable moving piece on the chessboard.
Exactly. And it's worth noting, it's not just Russia. Countries like Belarus, Syria, Serbia, Finland, even Ukraine itself have Buk-M1s in their arsenals, mostly from the Soviet era.
Ah, Ukraine has them too. That's interesting.
Yes, and this is where it gets really interesting for Ukraine. Because they operate their own Buk-M1s, they understand the system intimately. They know its weaknesses.
They know where to hit it.
Precisely where to strike to take one out. This internal, institutional knowledge likely plays a huge role in their success rate against these systems.
That makes a lot of sense. Now, you might be thinking, listening to this, okay, so they hit one Buk-M1. Is that really such a big deal?
A fair question.
But this July 9th strike, it isn't an anomaly. It's really just the latest in what's been a series of massive blows Ukraine has dealt to Russia's air defense network.
Yeah, there's a definite pattern emerging. We've seen this before. For example, Newsweek reported back in November 2024 that Ukraine had destroyed its 1,000th Russian anti-aircraft missile system.
The 1,000th, wow.
Yeah, and guess what it was? A Buk-M1 taken out by the Pitcher's Brigade. And a strategy was strikingly similar to this July strike aerial footage, showed it trying to camouflage itself in trees.
But it didn't work.
Still destroyed.
Yeah. Then, in March 2025, Militarnyi reported another Black Forest Brigade video, same brigade as July, showing another Buk-M1 taken out.
They seem to specialize in these.
Apparently, again, it tried to hide in trees. This one even had some kind of makeshift armor on it.
Trying to adapt, I guess.
Didn't help. It was annihilated by a massive explosion. The thinking is the blast likely destroyed the solid rocket fuel in its own missiles.
Causing secondary explosions.
Exactly, maybe setting off secondary explosions that just crippled the entire system.
Devastating.
And then, May 2025, another Black Forest Brigade strike. Captured on Telegram.
They're busy.
Very. This time, a Buk-M1 was seen trying to escape across a field, then ducking into a tree line. But again, a reconnaissance drone filmed this massive explosion as its ammunition load detonated.
The missiles cooked off again.
Yeah, sending munitions just hurtling away. The Telegram post even confirmed it was like a firework display from the ammunition detonating.
So a recurring vulnerability there.
Seems like it. So, from this series of strikes, we can draw a couple of, I think, pretty clear conclusions. First, the Black Forest Brigade seems to be an absolute nightmare for Putin's forces.
Clearly very effective.
3 of the 4 strikes we just talked about were by this one brigade. They really seem to have a unique talent for coordinating these assaults. They're effectively whittling away at Russia's aerial defenses in the Donbas.
Which could be crucial, potentially creating openings for future Ukrainian counterattacks, maybe for those F-16s eventually.
Good point. Second, there's a very clear operational pattern, a modus operandi.
Right. The surveillance first.
Yeah, Ukrainian drones consistently watch and track these air defense systems as they try to escape into trees. But the camouflage never works because these little FPV drones can just negotiate the trees to deliver their payloads.
They can get in close, navigate the obstacles.
Exactly. And based on those March and May strikes, it also really appears that Ukraine has identified the Buk-M1's missiles themselves as a key vulnerability.
Targeting the payload.
Right, targeting them specifically to cause these massive explosions that just completely cripple the entire multi-million-dollar system.
Smart tactics. Using the system's own power against it.
This all raises, the big question. What does this all mean for the bigger picture? Ukraine's current strategy, it seems, is all about taking out as many Russian air defenses as possible on its own territory, using these low-cost drones against extremely expensive Russian equipment.
And the numbers, the losses, they really speak for themselves. According to Ukraine's Ministry of Finance, Russia has lost, get this, 11,193 anti-aircraft warfare units up until July 10th.
1,193? That's a lot.
It is. And given that the war has been raging for about 40 months now,
right,
that works out to a rate of nearly 30 Russian air defense systems being taken out per month.
30 a month? That's almost one per day.
Almost one every single day, on average. It's a staggering rate of attrition for high-value assets.
And this is having serious strategic consequences for Russia, right?
Absolutely. Business Insider reported back in August 2024 that Ukraine's strategy was forcing Putin to essentially stretch his ever-decreasing units across the front lines.
Spreading them thin.
Very thin. Analysts from the Institute for the Study of War believe Russia no longer had enough air defenses to protect everything it needed, even in supposedly secure areas, deep behind the lines like in Luhansk.
So even rear areas are becoming vulnerable.
It seems so. It results in Russia constantly having to move its air defenses around. When one location is threatened, like with these drone strikes, units get pulled from other areas.
Leaving gaps elsewhere.
Exactly. Leaving those other areas less guarded and creating new opportunities for Ukraine. You could even imagine them using decoy assaults to force Russia to reposition defenses. It's a huge logistical and strategic headache for them.
And it's not just confined to Ukraine, is it? There are knock-on effects further afield.
That's right. United 24 Media reported back in May that Russia's apparently even installing fake S-300 and S-400 air defense units in the Far East.
Fakes, like inflatable ones.
Potentially, or just mock-ups. To hide the fact that the real functional systems are being pulled back towards Russia and, crucially, into Ukraine.
Wow. So they're weakening their defenses elsewhere.
It seems so. And that actively weakens Russia's influence and its protection commitments to allies in those regions. It creates potential long-term issues for Putin beyond the immediate conflict.
Fascinating. But perhaps the most impactful element here, the one that really jumps out, is the cost.
Oh, yeah. The dramatic cost-effectiveness gap. Let's break that down.
Okay.
A single Buk-M1, as we said, costs Russia about $10 million, give or take.
$10 million, okay.
Now, think about something more advanced, like a full S-400 battalion. According to Newsweek, that can cost around $200 million.
$200 million. Huge sums.
Huge. Now, contrast that with the Ukrainian side. Foreign Affairs states Ukraine's FPV drones, the kind used in that July strike, cost as little as $400 apiece.
$400.
$400 compared to $10 million. Exactly. Even their longer-range deep strike drones are maybe around $200,000. Still vastly cheaper than the targets.
That July strike is just the starkest example.
Sure.
A $400 drone, maybe a couple of them, destroyed a $10 million Buk-M1.
The math on that is just
Yeah.
incredible. What is that, like a 25,000 times return on investment?
It's almost unbelievable. A tiny drone costing less than, I don't know, a high-end smartphone.
Right.
Taking out a complex multi-million-dollar military system. It's truly a testament to asymmetric warfare, isn't it?
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
And this brings us neatly to Russia's broader economic strain. And here's where it gets, I think, really interesting for the long game.
Okay.
You know, more than 3 years of what Putin calls his special military operation have cost Russia dearly. We know that.
Right. Sanctions, war spending.
Exactly. A combination of Western sanctions and just rampant military spending has led to things like interest rates over 20%, inflation hovering around 9 or 10%, and a record low unemployment rate around 3%. Which sounds good, but actually suggests a severe worker shortage because so many are involved in the war effort or have left.
Right. Not enough people for the regular economy.
Precisely. And the financial numbers themselves are telling. Russia's liquid cash reserves, their accessible funds, have reportedly dwindled from $117 billion in 2021 to about $31 billion today.
That's a huge drop.
Massive. And estimates of the total war costs, they range from $211 billion, according to a U.S. official back in February,
Okay.
to potentially $300 billion, as reported by the Washington Post around February 2025, though these are, estimates.
Still, enormous figures.
Enormous. So the dilemma for Putin becomes crystal clear. Russia is, quite frankly, running out of money,
Sure.
or at least readily available money.
So he faces really tough choices.
Increasingly tough choices. Like, does he spend $10 million on replacing that destroyed Buk-M1? Or does he use that same amount to recruit, say, hundreds, if not thousands, of new contract soldiers?
Guns versus butter, or in this case, missiles versus manpower.
Exactly. And Ukraine's goal in all of this, with these drone strikes, it isn't just to create these tactical gaps in Russia's air defenses, though that's obviously important.
Right.
The real strategic aim seems to be to drain Russia's resources, to bleed them financially, and force Putin to make these incredibly difficult economic choices. Choices that might ultimately prevent him from continuing the war at its current pace and ferocity.
So it's economic warfare waged with cheap drones.
In a very real sense, yes.
Ultimately, then, that July Buk-M1 strike really is a powerful microcosm, isn't it? It perfectly encapsulates Ukraine's broader strategy.
Hit Russia hard.
Yeah, hit Russia hard by taking out as much of its expensive, high-value equipment as possible using these incredibly low-cost drones.
It's efficient, it's effective, and it hits Russia where it hurts both on the battlefield and in the treasury.
And this leads us to maybe a final thought for you, our listeners, to ponder. Russia is actively, as we heard, weakening its influence and its protection commitments in distant territories like the Far East by pulling critical air defense assets back to bolster its flagging defenses in Ukraine.
A strategic reallocation born of necessity.
Right. So what impact will this have on Putin's long-term power, on his relationships with allies beyond Russia's immediate borders? Is this even a sustainable strategy for Russia moving forward, or is it, just digging a deeper hole for its future international standing?
That's the multi-billion-dollar question, isn't it? How long can they sustain these losses and this strategic juggling act? Something to definitely keep an eye on.